Have you ever noticed how many men over 50 rush into relationships, not because they truly want a woman, but because they're afraid of being alone? It's that quiet fear no one talks about, especially men in this age group. Before we go further, hit the like button. It helps the channel reach more men who need this message. And tell me in the comments, do you think men over 50 should date casually or look for something serious? Why? Now let's get into today's topic. And yes, it's a bold one. 5 reasons to avoid having a girlfriend after 50 and 60, seen through the lens of modern stoicism. Before you assume this is about bitterness or isolation, let me make something clear. This is about strength. It's about mental clarity. It's about emotional independence. It's about recognizing the traps older men fall into, the traps that quietly drain their energy, disrupt their peace, and blur their masculinity. Let's start with a simple truth. The enemy in this story isn't women. The enemy is attachment without awareness. It's the habit men over 50 have of dropping their boundaries because they feel grateful for attention. It's the craving for validation after divorce, loneliness, or years of feeling invisible. It's the belief that a girlfriend will fill a gap in your life that only discipline, purpose, and self-respect can fix. Stoicism gives us the perfect angle here. Never link your happiness to something you cannot control. And let's be honest, a girlfriend is exactly that, something you cannot control. So let's break down the first 3 reasons. These apply to most men in the US, UK, Canada, or Australia who enter their 50s and 60s and suddenly think maybe it's time to settle down again. Reason 1, most women your age aren't really seeking love. They're seeking stability. This isn't criticism, it's reality. And reality is what Stoicism tells us to face. When you're a man in your 50s or 60s, you finally have what many younger men don't. Stability, wisdom, emotional calm, a steady masculine presence, financial understanding. Women, especially those in your age group, notice these things right away. But here's the twist. Most are not drawn to you because of who you truly are. They're drawn to what you offer. And men over 50 often confuse this attention with real desire. Stoic truth. Attraction based on convenience will collapse the moment the convenience fades. Think of it this way. You buy a boat and suddenly your friends want to hang out more. Are they visiting you or visiting the boat? Older men are the boat more often than they realize. I've coached countless men who entered a relationship thinking she genuinely likes me for me, but a few months later, they're paying for everything, handling every emotional issue, rearranging their lives, and receiving almost nothing back. It's not evil. It's evolutionary. It's practical. It's simply human nature. But it becomes a trap when you don't see it coming. Reason 2, you will lose your freedom faster than you expect. Men in their 50s and 60s finally reach a stage where life begins to feel clear. You've survived heartbreak, work pressure, children, family challenges, and health scares. You've earned your peace. You've earned your slow mornings. You've earned the ability to say no without guilt. But the moment you step into a committed relationship, something shifts. You exchange your freedom for companionship. And often, the companionship you receive doesn't match the freedom you give up. You start shifting your schedule, doing your hobbies less, managing someone else's emotional world, and shrinking your life just to keep things calm. Stoicism teaches a powerful lesson. Protect your inner fortress. Your peace cannot be negotiated. Your time is precious. Your energy is the resource that shapes the quality of your whole life. Yet so many older men hand all 3 away within months of getting a girlfriend. Here's a simple example. A man retires, finally ready to travel, exercise, meditate, and build a new chapter. He gets a girlfriend and suddenly his trips are postponed, his gym routine fades, his weekends revolve around her plans. He starts managing her stress, her family issues, her expectations. His inner fortress is slowly entered, not by a villain, but by his own weak boundaries. Reason 3, emotional responsibility will shift to you. This is where most men underestimate the real weight of a relationship at this age. Women, especially after 50, often carry emotional history. Old heartbreak, past divorces, resentment never healed, problems with adult children, financial fears, social insecurity, health concerns. You become the emotional anchor. You become the stability she leans on. You become the problem solver, the reassurance giver, the therapist, the emotional safety net. None of this makes her bad, but it reveals something important. When you take on someone else's emotional world, you sacrifice space in your own. Older men underestimate how much emotional energy this consumes. At 25, you can handle relationship storms because you have extra energy. At 55, you need that energy for your health, your purpose, your peace. The relationship becomes a weight instead of support. Stoics say a man must guide his own inner weather. But many older men end up trying to control someone else's storm instead. And when you constantly manage another person's emotional chaos, you slowly lose yourself. You stop noticing your own needs. You stop putting your well-being first. You stop chasing your goals. You trade self-mastery for emotional babysitting. And the scary part is that it happens quietly. Reason 4, relationships after 50 often push you into a caretaking role. Here's a truth many men in their 50s and 60s won't say aloud. A girlfriend at this age often becomes another responsibility, not a partner, not always, but often enough that you must pay attention. Women over 50 face real challenges, health shifts, hormonal changes, mobility issues, chronic stress, emotional burnout, financial uncertainty, complicated family situations, aging parents, adult children and grandchildren needing help. Who becomes the emotional and practical support? You. Not because you choose it, but because you're calmer, more logical, more grounded, better under pressure, and able to listen. And when you're that kind of man, you naturally begin absorbing everything. Stoicism warns against this exact trap. Don't take on burdens that are not yours. But in relationships after 50, the lines blur quickly. You start compromising your habits, your peace, your routines. You cancel your own commitments to help her family. You turn into the driver, the planner, the emergency contact, the emotional stabilizer. You entered the relationship looking for companionship. Suddenly you're a caretaker. Let me show you a scenario I've seen many times. A man in his 60s meets a woman who seems fun, warm, and easygoing. 6 months later, she's dealing with doctor visits, issues with her adult kids, stress from old relationships, unresolved trauma, or deep insecurity about aging. Who carries all of it? You do. Why? Because you're reliable, because you care, because you don't want to seem uncaring or cold, because you're empathetic. But here's the hard truth. When you take on roles you never asked for, you slowly lose the man it took you decades to become. You end up responsible for a life that isn't yours. And once that pattern begins, it rarely changes. Reason 5, you risk losing the prime of your masculine rebirth. This is the final and possibly the most important reason. Men between 50 and 70 enter a unique and powerful phase of life. Your testosterone may not be what it was at 30, but your masculine presence is sharper than ever. You're wiser, calmer, more grounded, more selective, more confident in silence, and more aware of what truly matters. This is your rebirth. But the moment you attach yourself to a girlfriend, especially one who doesn't match your lifestyle, peace, or pace, you risk losing that rebirth completely because relationships naturally require compromise. And compromise can easily become the enemy of personal renewal. You've worked your entire life to reach this point. Your mornings are finally yours. Your finances are steadier. Your stress tolerance is stronger. You understand yourself deeply. You're less reactive. You think before speaking. You know what weakens you and what strengthens you. But once you commit to a relationship, the following almost always happens. You start putting her needs above your own. You adjust your habits to avoid conflict. You limit your free time. You hide your desires just to maintain peace. You reduce your world to fit the relationship. You stop prioritizing your mental and physical growth. Your renaissance becomes a smaller version of what it was meant to be. Stoicism teaches that purpose must be the center of a man's life. Not romance, not approval, not companionship. Purpose. Yet many men over 50 become so excited by a woman's attention that they push their purpose aside without noticing. A relationship can add warmth to your life, but it can also dull the fire you've worked decades to light. The cost isn't just emotional, it's spiritual, energetic, and deeply personal. It's the cost of becoming a smaller man to keep someone else comfortable. And you must ask yourself, is that a price worth paying at this point in your life? Let's make this completely clear. This message isn't telling you to avoid women, avoid connection, or avoid dating. It's saying something much more important. Never enter a relationship from weakness, loneliness, or fear. Enter only from strength, self-respect, and full awareness. A stoic man chooses. He does not cling. He does not chase. He does not beg. He does not shrink. He evaluates. He observes, he decides from clarity, not emotional hunger. The true Stoic path is not rejecting relationships, but rejecting any relationship that costs you your peace, your purpose, or your freedom. If you ever choose to have a woman in your life, let it be because she adds to your life, not because she fills an empty space. You might wonder, so what should a man over 50 or 60 do instead? Here's the blueprint. Simple, strong, and honest. First, prioritize purpose. Your mission is the backbone of your masculinity. Keep it non-negotiable. Second, value peace more than companionship. A quiet home is worth far more than a loud relationship. Choose peace every time. Third, date casually, not committed. If you want feminine energy around you, enjoy it without losing your freedom. Be clear, respectful, and honest. Fourth, maintain strong emotional boundaries. Support, but don't absorb. Be present, but don't carry. Fifth, protect your renaissance. This phase of life is rare and powerful. Don't let anyone, including yourself, weaken it. Because a man who rises strong after 50 becomes someone younger men respect and women of all ages naturally move toward. Not because he tries, but because he is centered within himself. Many men over 50 don't realize how quickly their identity can shift when they enter a relationship without full awareness. At this stage of life, your sense of self is more refined than ever. You've lived through trials, losses, achievements, and quiet lessons that shaped a stronger, calmer version of you. But the moment you step into a dynamic where your boundaries soften, where your choices revolve around someone else's emotions, you risk drifting away from the man you've finally grown into. It doesn't happen suddenly. It begins with small adjustments that feel harmless. You skip your morning routine once. You avoid expressing your needs. You keep quiet to maintain peace. These little choices seem minor, but over time they stack into a pattern. You begin organizing your life around someone else's moods and expectations instead of your own priorities. At this age, the danger is greater because you have less emotional energy to waste. Younger men can bounce back from imbalance. Older men pay a deeper price. Stress affects their health more sharply. Emotional weight drains them faster. And losing freedom hits harder because it took decades to earn it. Modern Stoicism highlights something crucial. A man must know what is his responsibility and what is not. Most older men enter relationships with a good heart. They want to help, support, uplift, and be dependable. But without strong awareness, their natural empathy becomes a tunnel that leads directly into sacrifice. They stop growing. They stop exploring. They stop protecting their mental space. And ironically, the more they give up their identity, the less attractive and grounded they become. Women don't desire a man who loses himself. They desire a man who stays rooted, steady, and sure of his direction. This is why many relationships for men over 50 feel draining instead of fulfilling. They enter with hope, but they don't enter with boundaries. They enter with softness, but not structure. They enter wanting connection, but forget that connection cannot replace purpose. When a man reaches this age, the most powerful thing he can do is stay centered. Not closed, not distant, centered, connected to purpose, connected to peace, connected to his identity. When he does that, the right woman doesn't drain him. She fits into his life naturally. The wrong woman falls away on her own because she cannot pull a grounded man off his path. This is the deeper truth behind the message. A relationship doesn't destroy a man. A relationship entered from weakness does. A relationship entered from fear does. A relationship entered without purpose does. But a relationship entered from strength becomes something completely different. It becomes an addition, not a replacement, a complement, not a compromise, a partnership, not a burden. And the older the man, the more important this distinction becomes. This is why Stoicism resonates so strongly with men in this age group. It teaches them to stand firm in their inner world, to evaluate without emotional noise, to understand that not every connection deserves commitment. Most men over 50 have spent decades putting others first. Partners, children, family, work, society. They've carried responsibilities for most of their lives. This is the first time they're allowed to live for themselves. And ironically, this is the time many rush back into relationships because they fear being alone. But being alone at this stage isn't a weakness. It's a gift. It's the first time you're truly free to rebuild your identity, to explore who you are without pressure, to create a life that reflects your real values instead of your obligations. Many men discover passions, adventures, businesses, spiritual growth, health transformations, and renewed confidence in these years, things they could never access when they were emotionally entangled or constantly adjusting to someone else's needs. When a man stays grounded in his purpose, he becomes naturally selective. He doesn't give his time freely. He doesn't give his emotional strength freely. He doesn't become available by default. And this selectiveness is what protects his renaissance. It ensures that if a woman enters his life, she's entering a life that is already full, already balanced, already meaningful, not a life waiting to be rescued from loneliness. Men often underestimate how attractive this version of themselves becomes. Not only to women their age, but to younger women, even to society as a whole. People gravitate toward calm power, and calm power only appears when a man refuses to lose himself again. The deeper truth is this. For a man over 50, the biggest danger isn't being single. The biggest danger is giving away the peace he worked a lifetime to earn. Relationships aren't the enemy. Losing yourself is. And unless a man enters a relationship with awareness, boundaries, purpose, and emotional clarity, he will repeat the same patterns that drained him in the past. The older a man gets, the more sacred his life becomes. The more intentional he must be, and the more valuable his time, energy, and peace are. This is why men who understand this shift into a new kind of strength, quiet, measured, deeply attractive, and completely free. In the end, a girlfriend is not the issue. The issue is entering a relationship blindly without understanding the cost. A stoic man over 50 understands this truth. Freedom is priceless. Peace is sacred. Purpose is everything. Protect them fiercely. If a woman strengthens these things, great. If not, walk away without hesitation, because the man you're becoming in your 50s and 60s is far more valuable than the comfort of any relationship. If this message spoke to you, comment "I choose peace" below so I know you understand the deeper lesson. And of course, like the video so more men can find this message.